The debate surrounding the on-off demolition of the Marks and Spencer flagship store on London's Regent Street is more than just a matter of bricks and mortar. At its heart lies a profound question about sustainability, progress, and how we value what we already have. On one side, there is the allure of something new, a shiny, state-of-the-art building promising greater sustainability and functionality. On the other side, there's the argument to preserve the old, to honour the embodied carbon already spent in its creation, its operation, and its maintenance. That debate is an allegory for our times, extending far beyond architecture. In the coming years, the construction industry will face a similar choice. It must decide whether to embrace the new, in the form of electric and hydrogen-powered equipment touted as the saviours of a carbon-zero future, or to retain and care for the machines that already exist. The path to net zero is paved with difficult decisions, and while new technologies hold promise, an increasingly vocal lobby argues that maintaining and preserving existing equipment may make greater environmental sense. Consider the environmental cost of manufacturing a single piece of construction equipment. Each new machine represents an enormous expenditure of resources, from the steel and the glass to the plastic and the complex electronics. The production of steel alone is a highly energy-intensive process, emitting vast amounts of carbon dioxide. Glass, while less emissive, still requires significant energy and raw materials. Plastics demand petroleum-derived feedstocks, and the extraction of rare earth minerals for electronics often involves environmentally destructive mining practices. And then there's the shipping. Raw materials must be transported to factories, components shipped between assembly plants, and finished machines delivered around the globe. The logistics of global manufacturing are fueled by oil and gas, further contributing to greenhouse gas emissions. Each step in this process compounds the environmental debt embodied in a new piece of machinery. By the time it rolls off the production line, a single excavator or dozer has already generated a carbon footprint that will take years, if not decades, to offset through its operation. Now contrast that with the environmental cost of maintaining and extending the life of an existing machine. Repairs, replacement parts, and regular servicing represent a fraction of the energy and materials required to build something entirely new. Every time a machine is repaired rather than replaced, we save not only on the emissions associated with its manufacturer, but also on the emissions generated by its eventual disposal. The argument to preserve and maintain existing equipment is not merely an exercise in frugality or nostalgia. It's a practical response to the urgent need to reduce our collective carbon footprint. By focusing on maintenance and extending the lifespan of our machines, we can delay the need for new production, minimizing the environmental costs associated with mining, manufacturing, and global transportation. This shift in perspective could also have a transformative effect on how equipment is purchased in the first place. If buyers prioritize durability and longevity over the allure of the latest model, manufacturers will be incentivized to produce higher quality machinery. Instead of focusing on planned obsolescence or cutting corners to reduce costs, manufacturers would compete to create machines that stand the test of time, machines that are easier to repair, upgrade, and adapt to new technologies. Such a paradigm shift would align the construction industry with broader trends toward sustainability and circular economy principles. By treating machinery as an investment rather than a disposable asset, the industry can take a significant step towards reducing its own environmental impact. Now, this is not to suggest that new technologies have no place in the industry. Electric and hydrogen-powered equipment represent a crucial leap, a leap forward in reducing operational emissions. However, the benefits of these new technologies must be weighed against the environmental costs of their production. A balanced approach would see existing equipment retrofitted with cleaner engines and systems, combining the best of both worlds, the reduced emissions of modern technology with the preserved embodied carbon of existing machines. The challenge, of course, lies in overcoming the cultural and economic biases that favour the new over the old. There's a deep-seated belief that progress is synonymous with replacement, that innovation necessitates discarding the outdated. But progress can also mean reimagining and repurposing that we already have. It can mean finding value in longevity and resilience, in systems that adapt rather than discard. The Marks and Spencer debate highlights the tension perfectly. The promise of the new is seductive, but the environmental reality often tells a different story. Each new building, each new piece of equipment represents not only a fresh start, but also a significant environmental debt. To ignore this debt is to ignore the hard truths of sustainability. To address it is to recognize that the greenest building, the greenest machine, is often the one that already exists. Encouraging care and retention of existing equipment doesn't mean halting progress or resisting change. It means redefining progress in a way that includes preservation and maintenance as integral components. It means valuing the resources and energy already invested in our machinery and finding ways to maximize their utility. This approach requires a shift in mindset, not just for construction firms, but for manufacturers, policymakers, and financial institutions. Incentives could be created to reward companies that maintain and retrofit their equipment rather than replacing it. Tax breaks or subsidies could support businesses that invest in high-quality, long-lasting machinery. Training programs could emphasize the skills needed to repair and maintain equipment, ensuring a workforce capable of sustaining this new approach. Ultimately, the path to a more sustainable construction industry is not a binary choice between the new and the old. It's a journey that requires us to balance innovation with preservation, to recognize the value of what we have, even as we strive for something better. The equipment we use today has already cost the planet dearly. We need to honor that cost by ensuring these machines are cared for, maintained, and retained for as long as possible. The story of the Marks & Spencer's flagship store and the broader story it represents is not just about buildings or construction equipment. It's about how we choose to live in a world of infinite potential, but with finite resources. It's about finding a way to build a future that respects the past, a future that values durability and resilience over disposability. The greenest future is one in which we can care deeply for what we have, preserving it for as long as we can, even as we innovate and evolve.